In France, 4 police officers have been charged in connection with the beating last week of a black music producer in Paris. 2 officers are being held in custody. The arrests follow a weekend of protests in dozens of cities, with tens of thousands of people rallying against a proposed security law that would restrict the publication of pictures of on-duty police officers. Riot police in Paris used water cannon and tear gas to disperse the crowd protesting against the draft bill. It's known as Article 24. Rights groups say it would restrict press freedom and make it more difficult to hold police accountable. Let's go to Paris now to speak to our international correspondent to get a little bit more detail. Annelise, can we start, if we can, with the charges against those police officers? Tell us a bit about what happened and the status of that investigation now.
Good morning, Rosie. Well, the charges were announced overnight and they involve willful violence by a person holding public authority and forgery in public writing. That because of the initial fake statement provided by the police officers involved in what happened back on November 21st. That is when music producer Michel Zecler was beaten by police inside his studio. The Paris public prosecutor announced 2 officers were going to be detained pre-trial, pending trial, to avoid consultation between them, but also to avoid any potential pressure on the witnesses when questioned about just what happened on the night of November 21st. The police officers involved, who had initially denied any wrongdoing, acknowledged striking blows on Mr. Zecler, who they said resisted arrest, and they said they acted, Rosie, out of fear.
And what's been really critical in that case is the police didn't know that that security footage was recording what was going on, which is why the incident has become public. Now, huge protests across France against this security bill. What impact are those protests having? Are the government responding to them?
You're absolutely right. There's been a huge public outcry over this proposed law that would have made it virtually impossible for the pictures of the aggression against Michel Zecler to come to light, for example. That because of one particular article on the proposed bill, Article 24, that criminalizes the publishing of any pictures of police officers if the intent is to physically or mentally harm them. The lower house of parliament here in France has already passed the bill last week, which will now go to the Senate. But some lawmakers here in France have said that the text could still be revised, and the Prime Minister of France, Jean Castex, has announced an independent commission to help redraft this disputed article that has caused such a huge outcry over the law. The French President, Emmanuel Macron, has also weighed in on this huge debate, saying that he was, quote, ashamed by the pictures of Michel Zecler's beating, saying that he wants the French government to quickly make suggestions in order to restore the trust between the French and the police here.
Annelise, thank you very much, our international correspondent there in Paris for us.